All right, hey Vikings fans, welcome in to another episode of the Skol Hop. I'm Evan.
And I'm Austin.
We're just a couple of dudes from Iowa. We like drinking beer, talking about the Vikings.
Yeah, we do. And the big thing to talk about the Vikings today is Adam Thielen, number 19, is coming home.
Yes, we're super pumped about that. Hopefully, we can see him retire in purple.
Oh, that'd be great. We also talked about the final or initial 53-man roster and even some of the concerns we have about some of the depth at certain positions out there.
Yeah, and we even talked about the upcoming Monday Night Football game, Week 1 against the Bears at Soldier Field. I'm excited for this NFL season to get started.
Me too. And we kind of touched on some of the purple punishments we might have to do this season. So if you have any good ideas, listener, for purple punishments we could do, that'd be great. Let us know. But until then, sit back, listen to episode 102 of the Skol Hop. Skol.
Skol. All right, we're going to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, Big Top Ventures. If you're looking to take an all-inclusive trip to Mexico or Jamaica, send an email to bigtopventuresllc@gmail.com. We'll put it right down here at the bottom of the screen if you're watching us. Send them an email, let them know when you're looking to go on a trip, what you might be interested in doing, and we can pretty much guarantee you that they will hook you up with the best rate possible. So give Big Top Ventures a try. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Yeah, I know you won't be disappointed because I've actually booked through them. Evan still needs to do it. I always give him some grief about that.
Work in progress.
Yeah, work in progress. But yeah, I can personally attest Big Top Ventures is great, and the resorts are amazing. It's great. So thank you, Big Top Ventures.
Let's get to some beer.
Yes.
You might be wondering why we have a bowl.
They're
on ice right now. That's why.
I brought the beer tonight, and last week we tried a beer from Barn Town Brewing. Where are they out of?
West Des Moines.
West Des Moines, yeah.
Yep.
And which one was it? It was the Pickle Tickle. From Barn Town Brewing last week, and we were getting out of our comfort zone a little bit, and we love you, Barn Town, but that one wasn't for us necessarily. So
you finished all of yours, both of yours.
I had two of them. We each had two, and you.
No, there's still one unopened in my fridge upstairs. I couldn't make it through one.
Well, I was going to say we each had two, but you only completed almost one.
Correct.
So I promised Barn Town we would try their beer again because pickle beer.
It's a pretty niche thing.
Yeah, inherently out of the box, and a whole brewery is going to have other types of beers. So, went to our favorite Hy-Vee in the area here, and the only Barn Town beer they had was not in the fridge. So,
which is surprising because this very beer was in the fridge last week when I got the pickle beer.
Oh man! So
and a few other Barn Towns.
Maybe
as well.
I am besmirching the name of Hy-Vee,
okay.
And I didn't look hard enough. What I could see, I didn't see any refrigerated Barn Town beers. I might be wrong on that. Either way, the beer I bought was room temperature. So we have this bucket on the table here on the Skol Man Center, which you can see if you're watching through YouTube or Spotify.
You might be able to hear me moving the beer cans. You taught me a little trick. I didn't know this. So this is maybe a little bartender's trick.
Yeah.
But you put your can in the ice and you just roll it on the ice for a little bit, and it does in fact cool it off pretty quickly if it's room temperature.
It's pretty good.
I'm just trying to get this as cold as possible.
Yeah, we've got some ice in a bowl with some of these beers. Evan, this one I got is the Neon Hazy IPA from Barn Town Brewing. No secret that hazy IPAs are
your favorite.
My favorite. I can enjoy the whole gamut of beers, but hazy IPAs are my favorite. Just like you can enjoy the gamut, but like the Ambers and the Oktoberfests, and that is kind of your favorite. But yeah, I figured if we were going to give Barn Town the best shot, might as well, rig the game a little bit and go in my favorite.
I will point out really quick before we crack these open, because I'm excited to try this. Similar to last week's beer with the wrap that they put on there, they still have the little cutout of the state of Iowa on there. So that must just be a Barn Town thing that they do on all their can wraps. But super cool. We're obviously big Iowa beer fans. It's pretty much all we drink on this show. So to see that little touch, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, good touch. But it's all for naught if the beer's not good. Let's give this one a try. I'm really excited. This can is pretty good. It's neon, but the artwork makes it look like, a neon sign.
Dude, look how hazy this thing is.
Yes.
This is your kind of beer.
Oh,
right here.
no.
You're spilling all over the place.
I was paying attention to your beer as you were like, hey, look at my beer. And then I didn't even pay attention to...
Party foul.
I know. But we have paper towels. We'll figure it out.
We'll get you some.
I can smell it. Just like last week. Great. We opened the cans last week and we could immediately smell the pickle aroma. This one, I'm immediately smelling that citrusy, hoppy flavor. We haven't even tasted it yet. I had a hard pour. This is, man, it's rough. Oh.
That's like the epitome of an Austin pour right there.
We're going to let this one die a little bit.
Friend of the show, Forrest, would be giving you a really hard time right now.
Forrest, let us know if you're giving me a hard time. I'll just take the first sip out of the can, and we can go from there.
Sorry, I'm just getting a good angle on the old can there so the viewers at home can see that.
All right, Skol. Barn Town Brewing
totally redeems themselves.
Totally redeemed yourself.
That's a good beer.
Yes, that is good. And you said that from a guy that you like hazy IPAs. That's fine, but that's not your favorite. That's a weird way to say it. It's not.
Yeah, it's not that I like. Oh man, if that's the only beer, I guess I'll drink it. No, it's not that. Like, I mix it up. I don't only stick to amber beers or whatever. Yeah, I'll mix it up every once in a while. I'll go out to a brewery or go to the store and pick up. I like most types of beers. Yep. So this is really good. I noted the haziness right away. If you're watching from home,
yeah, it's a nice light color.
You can't see through it, but yeah, it's got that nice light color. It's really hoppy, which I like. Very aromatic. Flavorful. It's kind of like it's a juice bomb type of IPA.
Yeah, almost. Absolutely. Yeah, it's really good. They do have another one that I almost got that's specifically a grapefruit IPA. I forget what it was called, but it was something juicy, something like that. But yeah, I went with the neon because the can looked cool. Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm really excited to have this one and the next one and really give Barn Town a good shot here to be delicious.
And something interesting that I'll point out, I don't know that this has ever happened with any beer that I've tried, but that pickle beer got worse the more I drank it. Actually at first I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And I think you were the opposite. You're like, no, this isn't for me. And then we kind of flipped roles. It was fascinating to me how that played out, because usually with this beer I can already tell you I'm going to like this first sip as much as I like the last one. And every sip in between. Yeah. But there was definitely this conflicting trajectory. You were on the rise and I was on the downfall for that whole experience. Yeah. So hopefully that's the only Barn Town beer that I will just give to someone else if I'm presented with it. But this is really good, and this one's mine. You can't have it.
Okay, sounds good. I'm surprised because you said that other can that you put in your fridge, you're going to have your wife try it. I was excited to hear her opinion.
Hasn't tried it yet. She hasn't tried it yet. We're both teachers. This week was kind of busy for us. So, yeah, back to school and all that. But I'm just happy to sit here, drink a beer, and talk about all of this Vikings news that we have to talk about.
Yeah, it's been a busy week in the NFL season. Cut down days, I think since we recorded last they played the last preseason game. Yep. Hit cut down day. There's been some trades. And if you're watching, you will notice We have both broken out our number 19s, and no, that is not a Dante Fleming jersey. Welcome home, Adam Thielen. Thank you for coming back. Thank you to the Vikings and the Panthers. Hopefully your knee's okay. Thank you to those teams for completing the trade. The Panthers didn't really have to make this trade, and some will say the Vikings overpaid, but I would argue against that mindset, and I'll explain why here in a little bit. But Evan, happy, sad, elated, upset? What are your thoughts on this Adam Thielen reunion?
Ecstatic.
Yes.
We've been pounding the table for this. You texted it to me while I was at work. My students were working on something independently, and I had my computer, and I get my texts on my computer, and I was like, my face lit up. I'm sure, like, if there was a kid like looking over at me, they're like, "Wait, what did Mr. Duth just see on his computer?" No, I was pumped. I was excited, and I think my response to you was just a big capital yes.
It's like I said, let's freaking go. I'm like you. Elated is the best word. Now, if we were to be, totally subjective, non-biased football fans and seeing this trade, yeah, I saw what you just pointed out there too. If we were to try to analyze this trade from a non-Vikings or Panthers fan perspective, you could say, man, the Vikings, they traded for a recently okay 35-year-old wide receiver. And they may have overpaid a little bit. But like I said earlier, I'll argue against that. The Vikings pretty much, for this trade, they received Adam Thielen and his whole contract. The Panthers were not paying down any part of his contract. But we can talk about that later too. But they received Adam Thielen, and then I believe a 2020...
I'm trying to find it right now.
We'll look up exactly what it was.
So we can be accurate.
But it was basically a 5th-round pick and a 7th-round pick. And in exchange for all of that, they sent over a 4th-round pick and a 5th-round pick, I believe. And that maybe it was a 6th-round pick. But if you really look at it, the Vikings downgraded 2 of their picks in order to receive a pretty good older wide receiver who may be with the team for 1, hopefully 2 years. After seeing the compensation, friend of the show, Dustin Baker, tweeted something to the tune of, man, I really hope Thielen stays around with the Vikings for 2 solid seasons rather than just 1. Because after all the math breaks down and you look up the true value of what each team gave up, the Vikings ended up giving, apparently, if you believe Twitter, the equivalent of a 4th-round pick to receive Adam Thielen. So I can't be too mad about that, especially if Thielen goes and kind of makes the wide receiver position not that scary between Addison serving a suspension, couple injuries. We haven't seen Justin Jefferson fully healthy yet. So if Thielen can be that insurance, at least for the early part of the season, totally worth it for me.
Yeah, so I did find it. I can't remember what you were said.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I was way too busy trying to find the. I could have just Googled it, which is what I ended up doing. The Vikings got Thielen and a conditional 26 7th-rounder and a 2027 5th-round pick.
Okay.
Kwesi loves these conditional picks.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how he wheels and deals.
Yeah, it's all about just value.
Yep. And the Panthers got a 26 5th-rounder and a 27 4th-rounder.
Okay.
So kind of like, I think you summarized it well. The Vikings downgraded a few of their picks to immediately upgrade the wide receiver room. And I think that was a smart choice. You're kicking the can down the road a little bit with those draft picks, and you're kind of banking on the future. But the 2026 draft is looking really good right now for the Vikings.
Yeah,
too.
there's a lot of picks,
like 11 picks or something like that. It's crazy.
Well, and some Vikings fans, the immediate rebuttal to they overpaid for Thielen is, man, who cares what the Vikings gave up, because Kwesi can't draft well anyways. Which that's a whole other topic for an entire episode some other time. But I mean, there's something there. The Kwesi has had more success with undrafted free agents in his tenure so far than he has with 5th, 6th, 7th round guys. Either way, I don't feel like the Vikings got totally fleeced. Maybe they slightly overpaid a little bit, but you're going to get that when the Panthers didn't have any specific reason that they had to get rid of Thielen.
And it's the hometown package, right? It's this like, let's bring the guy home even if it costs a little bit extra. It's like if your buddy or your cousin or your brother or your sister is like stranded in an airport somewhere and you're like, oh, all I have to do is pay an extra $100 and I can get them home. Yeah, we'll do that. Like that's kind of what the Vikings did. Like, oh, okay, it's only going to cost a little bit more. We're only going to have to downgrade 2 picks next year and the year after. Okay.
Yeah, and that's
that's what it takes to bring him back.
They don't have any fewer picks than they did. Now, yes, a 7th-round pick is way different than a 5th-round pick, and that's what they did. They downgraded a 5th to become a 7th, pretty much. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all kind of a wash, and when you factor in the success with the UDFAs and just not knowing what the future holds anyways, like, you just got to take it and be happy with it. I saw a lot of people saying, man, it's weird to see a lot of people complaining about late round day 3 picks, like who cares? Which, yeah, it is what it is. The Vikings have Thielen. As a fan, I'd rather them do this deal than not do this deal and have to worry about wide receiver depth or concerns. Plus, it's really fun to have Adam Thielen back in purple.
And I think he's excited to come back too. I saw a video of him telling his family, and they were pumped. And so I think it's a win-win-win for the Vikings, the Panthers, and Adam Thielen. I think he wanted to come back anyways.
Yeah.
I don't think he was necessarily being held hostage by the Panthers. I think, like you said, the Panthers were just like, well, no, we don't have any reason to get rid of him. So unless the Vikings can give us a really good reason not to, he's going to stay here.
Yeah.
And I think the Vikings, Kwesi gave just enough of a reason for the Panthers to be like, well,
yeah,
okay, fine.
I was surprised, though, because on cutdown day, the Panthers released, am I right? They released Hunter Renfrow, which
I think you're right.
Which clued me and everybody else on Twitter who's a quote unquote expert, that clued us into saying like, oh, the Panthers, they got rid of Hunter Renfrow, so they have no reason. They definitely now have no reason to get rid of Thielen because, the rest of their wide receiver room, it's like a bunch of 22, 23, 24-year-olds, and then there's like one 30-year-old, and I don't even know his name. But, yeah, the Panthers, they're rolling with the young wide receivers who are talented. Bryce Young still has some good weapons for this year and in the future, but yeah, I just keep saying it. I'm really glad Adam Thielen's back.
Yes. How many seasons do you think he has left?
My assumption is this is probably his last ride. 35 is pretty up there. Now, he did at 34 last year have just over 1,000 yards. Still looked pretty good. His game, he's always been kind of quick, but his game has been more about catching everything near him. How many crazy catches have we seen him make?
I saw there were countless highlight reels of him as a Viking that came out today that I watched when I got home from work. There's all these one-handed grabs that he made that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that one. That was amazing.
There's one specific in the COVID year against the Bears in Chicago that there's nobody in the stands, but he makes like the coldest one-handed catch, and as he's falling down, he like flips the ball to get a better grip of it, and it's a touchdown. That's like one of my favorite Thielen catches. But yeah, that's his game, is possessions.
Yep.
And if you got I keep wanting to say rookie quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, who is redshirt rookie quarterback, the best thing you can give him is talented receivers first off, but receivers
sure-handed.
Sure-handed. You don't need to be dead in between the numbers every ball, otherwise he's going to drop it. Like, he's still that guy. Adam Thielen is still the guy that's going to catch darn near everything around him. It's just good as far as wide receiver depth. To answer your question, I think definitely this year. He's in for this year. It would be cool to see him come back next year too, especially like Dustin Baker said, to get more value out of what you give the Panthers. But I'll be happy if it's this year. It would kind of suck if he like breaks an ankle in the first game against the Bears and totally is out. But at least he's back with the team.
Well, and I think he would probably be, if something like that happened, hopefully not, but if the worst happened, I could see him just calling it quits, retiring, and then he gets to retire as a Viking, which I think is something that was important to him too. He's always been that hometown guy, and he's the Minnesota born and raised, went to Minnesota State. Like,
I didn't know that. I'm totally joking, because the joke is that, hey, did you know? Because they've pounded that story.
You sold that pretty well.
No, yeah. Did you know he was from Detroit Lakes?
Wait, what? No. But the point is, like, that's just ingrained in him. So I feel like, again, he's excited to come back, and I think we'll see him in the Ring of Honor someday.
That'd be cool.
I think.
I mean, it's not crazy to think, like, yeah, he's hometown and he's good, and he's not just a UDFA that made the team. Like, he made a couple of Pro Bowls. He's got like 6,600 receiving yards. I know he has 55 touchdowns, at least as a Viking. I was going to ask you, do you think he gets to 60 touchdowns as a Viking?
Well, let me look at his stats here. He's at 64 total, but 9 of those have come in Carolina. So he's at what, 59? No, I can't do math. 55 Vikings touchdowns. Oh, yeah, it's right there. I can't even read. I think he definitely gets to 55 touchdowns. And I think part of the reason is Kevin O'Connell doesn't, like, I think this is pretty characteristic of his coaching style. He doesn't just rely on one player. We saw it with Justin Jefferson last year with Sam Darnold. It wasn't clicking all the time, and he was finding other targets for touchdowns, and it happened 2 years ago, Kirk's last year, and then the like weird quarterback carousel that we were on when Kirk got hurt. Like, Justin Jefferson wasn't catching all of the balls, and then of course Justin Jefferson got hurt that same year. So I feel like KOC does a good job of, like, okay, they're expecting us to throw to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is going to be double, sometimes triple teamed. So we're going to find the open man. Jalen Naylor made a name for himself kind of in the last couple of years and is now wide receiver 2 for the first 3 games. If his hand is okay.
Wide receiver 3. I'd still put Thielen at number 2. And this is assuming fair. Justin Jefferson is healthy.
That's fair. But, I mean, on the 53-man roster, which we'll get to here, before the Thielen trade, he was listed as wide receiver 2.
Yeah, considering the Addison
with the Addison suspension for the first 3 games. So I think, to answer your question, yes, I think he easily surpasses 60 touchdowns.
Okay, gets at least 5 touchdowns this year. As a Viking, he's got, what is that, 6,682 receiving yards. You think he gets to 7,000?
I mean, he needs...
That's 318 yards.
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
Okay.
What's interesting to me about Adam Thielen, and I guess I didn't really know this about him until everything came out today, and I guess I just didn't really care 10 years ago, but he had 137 yards his first season and 144 yards his second season, and then he just exploded in 2016 with 967 yards, and then the next 2 seasons had 1,200 plus yards. Like, he was a major contributor in 17 and 18.
Yeah, he definitely blossomed in 16 through 18, where he was widely considered one of the better wide receivers in football. Not number 1.
Nope.
But, I mean, definitely a better, one of the better ones. And that helps because for a while there he was tandemed with Stephon Diggs, and then for a couple years he was tandemed with Justin Jefferson, and now he doesn't have to be wide receiver 1. Even, let's just say Jordan Addison comes back, there's no question it'll go Justin Jefferson 1, Addison 2, and then probably Thielen 3. And I was tweeting today from the Skol Hop account. I replied to, I forget exactly who it was, but they were saying just that Adam Thielen, you know, he's going to be benefited from not having to be wide receiver 1 once everybody's healthy and off of suspension. And I brought up, hey, remember when Larry Fitzgerald Jr. kind of surged the end of his career by moving to the slot? That's definitely, I mean, being a possession guy, if you can stay healthy, being in the slot could be perfect for Adam Thielen. Like, that's where he could, maybe he has a decent year this year and decides, I'll do one more. you never know. If you're home already, might as well make some money and enjoy the last couple of years of your career.
Just one more little tidbit on that. Like, if you're looking at just the trend of his stat line for the last, I don't know, since 2019, I think he was injured in 2019, missed a handful of games. He only played 10 games that year. Since 2019, so 2020 season and forward, he hasn't caught less than 500 yards worth of catches. So to answer your question, can he surpass 7,000 yards? I think, yeah, easily. Even last year and the year before in Carolina, he had 1,014 yards 2 years ago in Carolina, and he had 615 yards last season. Like, yeah, I think easily.
I think it's the other way around. I think last year he had the 1,000 yards.
That's not what this says.
Oh, okay.
It says 2023 he had the 1,000, just over 1,000 yards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
And then 615 in 24. So if Pro Football Reference is accurate,
no, I think you're right. Yeah,
that's how I'm reading it.
Yep.
But anyways, I'm not expecting 1,000-yard season out of him, especially.
I don't think there's enough room for him to have. Yeah.
Especially probably filling that wide receiver 3 role once Addison comes back from his suspension, assuming Jefferson's healthy the whole season. But I still think he's good for 400, 500, 600 yards.
And all he needs is 320 to get to 7,000 as a Viking.
Yep. So I think he gets there. And I could also see him in my offensive mind is not elite at all. But I think I know enough to know that when you play slot receiver, your chances to catch touchdowns increase when your team's in the red zone. So I could see that where you were saying, yeah, he could make a really good slot receiver. And I could see him, because of his sure-handedness and his ability to just reel it in, when the team gets into those red zone situations, you run out of room for Justin Jefferson to just blow past everybody and get open. I could see Adam Thielen fight his way to get open across the middle or, on a post route or whatever and, catch a lot of touctouchdowns.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe not 10 touchdowns, but maybe 5.
Yeah, 5 would be pretty cool.
To 60.
Well, and Jefferson, he's always been good for a handful of touchdowns every year, but he's never been like
he's not a touchdown machine.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it would be out of the ordinary for Justin Jefferson to become like, oh, he might break the touchdown record this year. Like, he's just a sound receiver that the Vikings also have had some good red zone threats other than Justin Jefferson. But that just means there's red zone targets for other guys too.
He's only ever had 10 touchdowns max in a season, and he's done that twice. 2024 last year, and then in 2021.
That's actually pretty good. But when you're considering like the best wide receiver in football, like you think they'd have more than that, or a more consistent track record than that. But yeah, I think we could beat this horse to death. Adam Thielen, he's a Viking, wide receiver 2 right now, only as bad as wide receiver 3. Vikings may have paid a little bit too much, but nothing to be upset about. It's not like they gave up a first-round pick. That would have been terrible. There's definitely a price that I would have been upset that the Vikings would have paid. Like, if they had sent a third-round pick over without more than just Adam Thielen coming, like, I would have been pretty upset. Happy that he's here, but, like, man.
That's too much.
Yeah. But I think the package they sent and received, I'm not mad about it. Panthers probably won a little bit in value, but I'm not mad about it.
And if you're not watching us and you didn't pick up on this earlier, we're both wearing Adam Thielen jerseys to commemorate this momentous occasion. My jersey that I'm wearing is one that you gifted me on the Skol Hop.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what episode that was.
Episode 16. I just watched it the other day.
Nice. Fun fact.
Yeah, I believe it's episode 16. I could be proven wrong on that one. Fun fact about the jersey I'm wearing right now, I bought it like a week ago once the rumors about him coming first started to feel real and not just like fans saying, hey, we need wide receiver, let's go get the old guy. Friend of the show, Dustin Baker, kind of gave us a little bit of steam on Twitter because he's got a little bit more connections than we do. And I kind of tweeted at him like, "Hey, what do you know?" And he told us a little bit about what he knew, and I was like, "Man, this would be really cool." So I went on eBay and I bought this jersey, and then I got it, and then this team was like, "Oh yeah, Thielen, he's probably not coming. They're not figuring." I was like, "Well, I can't be mad because it's still a cool Vikings jersey
for sure."
But now it's all the more exciting to have. I'm super glad to have this Thielen jersey, and it works too because I'm of the age, we're mid 30s right now. I think it's a little cringe for grown men to wear jerseys because most of the time you're wearing a jersey of a guy that's younger than you. And Thielen is older than both of us.
Not by much.
Just a hair.
But just a little bit.
But he's older. We may have been in the same grade. He might have been, one grade older than us. I don't know, but
I think isn't he? What is he? 36 now?
35.
He's 35?
He just turned 35 like days ago, within the last week or two.
I feel like we just need to look this up.
Go ahead and look
Adam
it up.
Thielen graduate high school.
But either way, it's still a little cringy, little fanboy for a grown man to wear a jersey.
Well,
but he's older than us, so no big deal.
We have a freaking podcast. We do this once a week. We sit down and talk about the Vikings.
Yeah, you're right.
Fangirl over all these kids that are younger than us. So he was born August 22nd, so he actually just celebrated his 35th birthday. I turned 35 in November.
All right, so he's a hair older than us.
He may have been. It depends on, because I'm assuming he went to high school in Minnesota. Yeah. I'm sure he did.
Same graduating class as us.
He would have either been the class of 08 or the class of 09. Mm-hmm. He might have been really old for our class or really young for the class before us. I don't know.
That'd be interesting to figure out. Either way, he's older than us. It's slightly less cringy to wear his jersey.
Yeah. All right. Well, there are 52 other players that we have to talk about. Wait a minute. Hang on. I guess I didn't, in the excitement of the news of Adam Thielen coming to Minnesota, he wasn't on the initial 53-man roster, so who got bumped?
Do we know that? Yes, because the guy is on the practice squad now. It was Tim Jones, the guy who...
wide receiver.
Wide receiver, he had been wearing number 14. Mm-hmm. In the preseason. Believe he is another one of those undrafted rookie free agents. Because the Vikings 53-man roster, the initial one, pretty sure it had 7 UDFAs on it.
Yeah.
current UDFAs, not guys that had been undrafted and they've been in the league, proven now, but current guys that a year ago were in college that didn't get drafted, which is crazy. And I'm pretty sure Tim Jones, who is now on the practice squad after being released in the corresponding move for Adam Thielen, Tim Jones was one of those UDFAs.
Okay.
But yeah, like you said, there's 52 other guys on the roster. We should probably talk about that because last time we talked about it, we were like, oh, who's going to win QB2 spot? There's been some development in that one.
Yeah, well, there's another trade.
Yeah.
That wasn't as splashy as the Adam Thielen trade, but it's... I think in kind of the same vein because Carson Wentz is kind of a local guy too.
He's a hometown quote unquote kid, North Dakota State. I don't know where he's born and raised from.
I'm looking that up.
He went to college at North Dakota State.
Born and raised in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Whoa, okay.
But then went to high school in Bismarck, North Dakota.
All right, so it might be one of those. Max Brosmer was born and raised about 5 minutes from where we're sitting. Born about 5 minutes from where we're sitting right now. I think we read he moved to Ohio pretty soon after he was born here. But, the Vikings traded away Sam Howell to the Eagles, and I forget what that deal was, but it was a couple of picks, like a fifth and
that was a move that
or something like
Kwesi kind of came out on top of. He bought Sam low and sold him high kind of thing.
Much. Well, yeah, because... Sam Howell came to the Vikings as a part of a draft day trade, and I don't remember. It wouldn't be worth it for us to look up exactly what it all was, but yeah, he definitely value-wise earned on the Sam Howell transaction. But yeah, the Vikings traded away Sam Howell to the Eagles, whose primary QB2 broke his finger or something like that. He's going to miss some time, so they needed a QB2. And in a almost corresponding move, the Vikings worked out and signed Carson Wentz, who had been a free agent. And I think Carson Wentz was kind of holding out. He could have easily signed with a team. He's not an MVP level quarterback like he was before he got hurt, like his rookie year or second year. But he's still definitely rosterable and at least a QB2 on any team. So yeah, I think the Vikings upgraded at QB2. And I think it's one of those, like, they signed Carson Wentz so that they could take a little bit of pressure off of the guy who is now on the 53-man roster and QB3, Max Brosmer, who, another undrafted guy, played in Minnesota last year. We spent a good amount of time last week, episode 101, talking about him and if he'd win QB2 spot. And at the time, I think we were thinking, like, okay, if Max Brosmer makes the 53-man roster, it's because he is QB2. But I'm okay with how the quarterback depth is sitting right now.
I have a theory that I'd like to put forth.
Let's hear it.
I could be wrong, but it has to do with Kevin O'Connell. And my theory about Kevin O'Connell is that I think he prefers having a veteran presence in the locker room.
Okay.
In the quarterback room. I think he, like Nick Mullins, not starter caliber, but really good backup. I think at one point you and I have both been quoted saying, like, he's one of the league's best QB2 options. Yeah. Like, especially in terms of value, because he's pretty cheap. Not many people even know who he is. Yeah. Carson Wentz is more of a household name than Nick Mullins.
He was a second overall pick, but Nick Mullins, I don't know where he was drafted, but yeah.
But, like, Nick Mullins stepped in and played that role admirably for quite a few seasons for the Vikings. Josh Dobbs was kind of one of those names that he brought in on a whim. Sam Howell, I would argue, was another one that KOC, I think, maybe had in his mind of, like, okay, I'd be interested to see what he's got, and if he's the guy, then we'll work with him. Obviously, we saw a lot of him in preseason, and he just didn't cut it. And even as fans, we knew
weird.
We were like, no. And which it is weird because he was successful with the Seahawks.
Well, he was a backup with the Seahawks, but he had been a starter with the Commanders, and maybe even
that's what I'm remembering. I guess.
Yeah, they were the Commanders by the time he was starting. Sam Howell, I was actually kind of excited for the Vikings to get him because. Yeah, he had a lot of turnovers. He was really raw, not perfect with the Commanders, but he showed some promise, and I thought it might be one of those. He wouldn't be the starter, but I thought Sam Howell might be another Sam Darnold replica in that he took a year, was a backup, had some pressure taken off of him, learned from McDonald, who was I don't know much about the Seahawks coach, but kind of had a year where he learned and took some pressure off and then came to the Vikings. And everybody learns under Kevin O'Connell, right? But I think Sam Howell just something didn't click. Not everybody learns the exact same way, so maybe the Kevin O'Connell-Sam Howell relationship just wasn't perfect. And good on the Vikings for recognizing that and reevaluating that and moving forward with hopefully a better option. But yeah, you're right. He wasn't great when he was in the preseason games.
No, but I think my theory still stands, and maybe I would add one more little wrinkle to that, in that it's not just a veteran quarterback in the room, but it's a veteran quarterback that maybe has some flaws, that maybe isn't like a Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, elite quarterback. And I don't even know if people would agree with me calling Kirk Cousins elite.
Elite flashes, definitely. You'd be crazy to say he wasn't good and elite at times.
And I think Kirk was a unique situation because KOC inherited Kirk as the quarterback of the team, and Kirk's contract was already pretty firmly established, and so KOC really had no choice other than to coach that. But now that I think the Vikings as an organization are out from under the cap hell of having Kirk Cousins on the roster, KOC has a lot of freedom to do what he wants in the quarterback room, and I think he's really flexing his muscles that way, and he's bringing guys in and out as he sees fit. Nope, this guy doesn't work. Yes, this guy does. I think that's part of what we just talked about with Sam Howell. Like, nope, not going to cut it. But I do think you've got you've got J.J. McCarthy, who's only been an NFL player for 1 season now, going into his second season, but first as a starter. And then you've got Max Brosmer, fresh out of college, who's really only gone through training camp and preseason. You need that what's the word I'm looking for?
Veteran presence. Yeah.
You need. I was going to say varsity.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
High school football. It's not the same, but anyways, you need that veteran presence to guide these guys, not just on the football acumen, but just on even the, like, how do I be a pro? How do I handle myself? How do I do these other things? And so I think that's part of KOC's formula is, can I get a guy that has a little bit of experience behind him, even if he's not the starter, even if he's not even the QB2. I think Carson Wentz will eventually be the QB2.
Oh, I think
not eventually, like probably right now.
He is QB2 right now. Brosmer is definitely.
Brosemer's the practice squad emergency 3 guy.
No, he's not practice squad. He's on the 53, but he is the QB3.
He is the emergency 3.
Yeah. Now, I think you're absolutely right in that KOC values like a veteran presence, because I think, and maybe this is the case for every NFL team, but I think for Kevin O'Connell's NFL team, QB2 has a specific job during the week, and it's not just take a couple of snaps and go sit on the sideline and be there in case QB1 gets injured and kind of know the playbook. I think QB2, and I've heard him talk about this on various podcasts or talking with Paul Allen. I can't remember exactly where I've heard him say this, but when Kevin O'Connell was a quarterback in the league, he pretty quickly realized, like, okay, I'm not going to be the starter, but it's my job to do everything I can to prepare this team and prepare the starter the best way I can, because I'm in those meeting rooms. So for Kevin O'Connell as a coach, he views QB2 as a specific role who helps QB1 with watching film, game planning, watching QB1, figuring out, almost like a second QB coach. And I think Carson Wentz, I don't know anything about him, personally, but he's got NFL experience. He's started. He's backed up. He's been, the guy on the sideline for injury. He has a Super Bowl, maybe even multiple Super Bowl rings, but definitely the one Super Bowl ring with the Eagles in Minneapolis as a backup, not even a backup, but a guy on the sidelines because he was injured. So Carson Wentz, he probably has some value in coaching up and helping to prepare QB1 because he's either injured or just on the bench. And last place Carson Wentz was, I believe, was Kansas City. So you can't really have a better coach quarterback room to be in than Kansas City's right now with Reed and Mahomes. So yeah, I'm super pumped about Carson Wentz. Plus, it's fun. He is almost a hometown kid. He's wearing number 11, so I'd imagine you get some people that'll take some. Oh yeah, Dante Culpepper. But I'm thinking like Laquan Treadwell jerseys and kind of ripping off the name tag and making like a homemade Carson Wentz jersey. He may be the best-selling backup quarterback jersey in NFL history this year. So, I'd wear a Carson Wentz Vikings jersey. That'd be pretty cool. After I just talked about how cringe it was for a grown man to wear a jersey.
He's older than us, isn't he?
No,
he's younger than us. He's 32. Dang, I was
slightly younger, but. Yeah, we spent a lot of time on quarterbacks. It's really cool that Max Brosmer made the team, not just like practice squad, but he'll be the third quarterback. I think there's some rules on QB3 that he can dress, but like if he goes in, no matter what, the starter can't come in whether or not they were injured.
And I don't even
think there's
think
some rules.
I don't even think QB2 can come in. If you get to QB3, like, I think it's pretty restrictive.
I don't know. Well, it may be something that, because they teams can dress 46 guys, and I think no matter what, they can dress 3 quarterbacks, and that third quarterback doesn't count to the 46.
To the 46, yeah.
So 46 plus an emergency quarterback, and I think that rule changed because the Niners got really
banged up a couple years ago
in the NFC Championship game. So like, yeah, we should maybe let teams not be totally screwed if 2 quarterbacks go down. But yeah, Brosmer's QB3 could eventually, after this year, after next year, be the perennial QB2. I did kind of joke and tweeted something like, how long until Vikings fans are clamoring for Brosmer to start over J.J. McCarthy? And somebody tweeted back and said, like, in 12 years. So, I don't know. It's a fun story. As far as the rest of the team, did you have any surprises for players that either made or didn't make the team?
Well, I think the Vikings addressed the wide receiver situation with the Adam Thielen trade.
Yeah.
Maybe not completely, but at least to start. And you get Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison back, and we're rest assured Jefferson is healthy. Jordan Addison's suspension is over.
Mm-hmm.
I think the wide receiver woes go away for the Vikings in week 4 and beyond.
Assuming everybody's healthy.
Assuming, yes.
Anybody could break a leg and totally ruin that room for the team, at least in short term.
Assuming everything remains the same and on track the way that it's supposed to. I think a sneaky position group that we didn't really talk about at all really in the offseason. We talked about it, but it wasn't ever anything we talked about in depth because it was just like, well, J.J. McCarthy's going to be the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the quarterback? And then all of a sudden we had these crazy camp battles for who's going to be QB2 and who's going to be QB3, and we had some interesting things, and then they make this big splashy trade for Carson Wentz. I think that group is pretty well locked in now too. Like, it's the Vikings aren't going to go out and trade for anything.
Yeah, probably not. Unless some team gets desperate and really loved Max Brosmer and is like, hey, we'll give you a 3rd-round pick for him. Like, that'd be wild. Take that deal.
Yes, but even then, I don't know that that's going to happen.
No.
So I think those position groups are pretty well locked in. One that I'm still concerned about is the cornerback room.
Yeah.
Corner, not quarter. Cornerback. Defensive, secondary, cornerback room. I just don't know. Like, there's a lot of unknowns in that room, and I know that's kind of a hot topic right now.
Yeah.
I think you have... Excuse me. I'm yawning a little bit. I'm a
it's
teacher.
Late. You're a teacher. First week back at school,
First week of school. Byron Murphy Jr. and Isaiah Rodgers, I think they'll hold down the fort in terms of the starting cornerback positions. But then behind them, in terms of depth, you have Dwight McGlothern and Jeff Okudah. Like, that's a kind of a big drop-off, in my opinion.
I assumed that, because we're recording this the day after Cutdown Day, and at the time of recording, that's also the day after all of the waiver claims were put in and practice squads, at least initially, are set. I assumed there would be some changes from the initial 53 in wide receivers, which there was with Adam Thielen, and cornerbacks, because they only had 4 on the initial 53. And currently, public information, we have no other reason to believe elsewise, I don't know. Otherwise, there's still only 4 cornerbacks on the team, and it's the initial 53 that you just read, or the initial 4 that you just read off. That's my biggest surprise, is that they didn't make a move or try to add to that room. Because 4 cornerbacks, like, I feel like teams usually keep 5, and it's not like they have 12 safeties on the roster. I think there's 5. I don't know. I feel like we haven't seen the 53-man roster that will enter Soldier Field
week 1 against the Bears,
just because of that cornerback room. I agree. It's a concerning situation, especially since, like, you're not talking about 4 guys where 3 of them are obvious Pro Bowlers. And, I mean, before last year, Byron Murphy was good, but we were waiting for him to explode, and last year he kind of did. But even then, it's only 1 year of really good production. So Byron Murphy is a solid one. Isaiah Rodgers, there's a lot of upside and hype, but, like, he's still kind of unproven. We'll see if they make some moves.
I just read a really funny tweet
from
Thomas Sullivan. I'm pretty sure we follow him on Twitter.
Yep.
He said, I hope the Vikings, this was earlier today, I hope the Vikings trade a 4th-round pick equivalent for a good cornerback. Fight me.
Yeah, I saw that, because he's saying that because the Vikings essentially traded a 4th-round pick equivalent value for Adam Thielen.
Right.
So, yeah, I'd be happy and make that move and solidify the cornerback room, too. Obviously, they'd have to make a corresponding move, and with only 4 cornerbacks right now, you probably wouldn't release one if you added one, so there'd have to be somewhere else, probably offensive line, or I don't even know. Maybe you have too many safeties right now. I don't know where that corresponding move would come from, but
You've got some interesting names out there, too, that according to Sharp Football Analysis are still available, like Asante Samuel, Rasul Douglas, former Viking as of last season. Stephon Gilmore is still out there, getting older, but...
I think Rasul sided with somebody today.
Did he?
And Asante Samuel, I thought I saw some report come out yesterday that he had some kind of a back surgery, maybe even something to correct like a spinal issue. Don't quote me on that, but some kind of a surgery that he expects to be ready to play in the second half of this season. So he might be out there for a while.
Well,
Stephon Gilmore, he's definitely out there still.
I'll just we can cross those first two out and we'll just go right to Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
Like, I'd take that guy
as
a depth piece. Like, if he's willing to take probably a pay cut from whatever they paid him last year.
I think he was like $10 million last year. Yeah, and maybe that's the only holdup. Maybe for all we know, they've been talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, here's where I am," and they're like, we're not quite there yet." I'd take him back on the field. Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
The closer you get to week 1, though, and you're a player and you're still sitting on your couch at home waiting for the phone to ring, I feel like your price tag probably goes down a little bit. Like,
maybe. I also know there's like weird rules as far as like, if you sign a guy to a 1-year contract, there's weird rules about like guaranteeing their contract if they're signed before week 1 as opposed to after week 1. I remember a few years ago when the Vikings, right before the season, seemed like they might be interested in signing Everson Griffin back because he had gone to like the Cowboys and the Lions, after being a Viking. And then there was like steam right about this time, like a week before the season started, that like, hey, they might be interested in bringing this guy back. But then people were like, oh yeah, they won't do it until after week 1, because if they sign him before, then if he's on the roster week 1, his whole year is guaranteed. Whereas if they sign him, the day after the first game, then you can manipulate that guarantee, and if it doesn't go well, then you don't have to cut him and give him the whole year's pay.
Sure.
There's something about that, and I'm not smart enough to know the rules on that, but maybe that's it. Maybe they do roll week 1
with those four guys,
and then you see something like a Stephon Gilmore signing after week 1. I don't know, or literally before we hit post on this episode, they tweet and say, "Hey, we've signed Stephon Gilmore again." Like,
that is kind of the catch-22 of recording a podcast like this. Is we talk about all this stuff and then it could be irrelevant like 10 minutes from now.
Well, and that's the whole reason we usually record on Monday nights. But we made it Wednesday night this week. I mean, there's a couple reasons, but the biggest reason was cutdown day was Tuesday, and then the second wave of cutdowns was today, Wednesday. So it's these rosters, whether it's the 53-man roster or the practice squad, they're all fluid.
Yep.
Whether it's injury or necessity, depending on the week, like they're all fluid. The Vikings will make several moves throughout the season. Every team does every year. But yeah, this 53, I'm excited for it. If they solidify that cornerback room, I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for it too. Obviously, the Adam Thielen trade is the cherry on top of
it's Christmas Day.
Everything, which is why we're celebrating with his jerseys today. With the addition of Adam Thielen on the 53-man, and we take out, who was it?
Tim Jones. Another wide receiver.
So you swap those two guys out for each other on the 53-man roster. All things remain the same as of right now with the information we have. I know practically nothing other than Caleb Williams is going to start at quarterback for the Bears. Who wins? We have already made our picks. I think we both picked the Vikings to lose that game.
I think we did too.
But has anything changed? Has your optimism surged with some of this new information?
I mean, I would expect a win. I'm not changing my official pick. We're not going to do that. We're not those kinds of people. But just logically, Kevin O'Connell is more experienced as a head coach. Ben Johnson is a really good coach, and probably at least 40% of the reason the Lions have been so good the last couple of years. Ben Johnson is still a rookie head coach, and we've said it before. We don't know the ins and outs, but we definitely know there's a big difference between being a coordinator and then going on to be a head coach, which is essentially the CEO of a billion-dollar organization. Kevin O'Connell's more experienced. The Vikings, outside of quarterback, are more experienced and more talented at just about every position. And sure, we could probably go man by man and argue who's better at what position. But I really feel like the Vikings are better off than the Bears. If the Bears win, it will be because there's hype around being the first Monday Night Football game of the season. It's at home, new head coach, new era for them. But I think logically, the Vikings should win that game. And I don't know what the betting line is right now. We could probably look that up.
Yeah, we could definitely look that up.
Because that's a good barometer. It's not always right, obviously, but it's at least worth talking about. But yeah, in my heart of hearts and my gut, I really think the Vikings will win.
Right now, ESPN, which is one of many.
Sure.
But ESPN has the Vikings at -1.5.
Ooh, okay. So that's essentially a pick 'em.
Yep.
I mean, that's saying the Vikings only win by one or two.
Less than one.
Yeah. So, 1.5. So that's giving the Bears. If they lose by one, then the Bears have won that bet.
But haven't you also told me, because I'm not the betting one here, you are, that the home team typically gets -1 automatically?
Well, the home team, they usually get like 3 points just for being the home team. So that's giving the Vikings an extra 1.5 points.
Okay.
Because if everything were perfectly even and the Bears were the home team, should be the Bears -3, because that would be the Bears would win by 3 for being the home team. So I guess that's giving the Vikings 4.5 points.
Okay.
Because now that is saying the Vikings will win by 1.5 points. And if the Bears only lose by 1 point, then they would have won that bet, if that makes any sense at all. It's given the Bears 2 points, pretty much.
1.5, -1.5 is pretty much the standard across all of the.
Okay. So the Vikings are
books.
slightly favored.
Slightly.
Yep.
Like with the slimmest of margins.
Yep. So I could see that. I think it should be a little bit different, but they're basing that off of the Vikings' starting quarterback is a guy that's never played NFL football outside of the preseason. So I get it.
And the Bears quarterback has 1 season of experience, but a season of experience where he got demolished by a leaky boat's worth of an offensive line,
I will say one of my favorite stats in all of NFL football is that in their entire history, the Chicago Bears have never had a quarterback throw for 4,000 yards, and they've never had a quarterback throw for 30 touchdowns. They've never had one do both in a season. They've never had one do either at all. So the longer they can go and keep that stat true, the more happy I'll be. I think Caleb Williams is probably good enough to break both of those at some point, if not both at the same time. But let's just hope this year's at least one more year where we can say that that's true for the Bears. No 4,000 yards and no 30 touchdown passer. But yeah, heart of hearts, I think the Vikings win that game. What do you think right now?
I picked it as a loss, and I still think I'm gonna stick with my guns that it's a loss.
Okay.
I'll go with Vegas that it's going to be the thinnest of margins. It'll be a heck of a game to watch. Monday night, week 1, like it's the final game. It's the encore performance of week 1 for all of the NFL. So
I think they're usually week 1 they have like multiple Monday night games. Mm-hmm. So there might be one that kicks off just after the Vikings Bears.
I think there's usually a West Coast game.
Like a Chargers Raiders Monday night game or something like that.
But still, it'll be towards the end. It will kind of be on the tail end of all of the excitement of week 1. I still think the hype, the excitement overwhelms the Vikings, the locker room. There have been a lot of changes in that locker room. Mm-hmm. While I still believe in that locker room, and I still believe those guys are going to rally around each other because Kevin O'Connell kind of requires them to of like, that's how he coaches. Like, he doesn't coach this like, well, every man for himself, just go out and do your job. It's not how he coaches. He's, we're a team, we do this together. He's a team and player focused coach, which I think is one of his strongest features as a coach. I still think it will it'll overwhelm them a little bit. The hype of the game, Monday night, divisional opponent. I got into an argument with some kids in class today who are Bears fans, and they were like, the Bears are going to be first place, and I'm like, no, they're not. The Bears are going to end up in third place in the NFC North. That's my prediction right now.
That might still be a playoff spot.
Could be. But anyways, I had to quickly recover because I'm like, that's not what we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
Guys, I can't get in an argument about NFL right now.
It'll derail the whole day. I have to
teach you English literature. That's what we're here to do. But anyways, it'll be embarrassing to walk into my class with all these Bears fans and have to face the music that Tuesday afterwards. I'll be tired. It won't be fun, but I still think they lose.
Yeah, okay. Well, if the Vikings do end up winning, and I think you're right, I think both of us officially picked a Vikings loss in that game. If the Vikings do end up winning, then we will have to spin the wheel of purple punishments, which I think is kind of solidified. We have some punishments for sure solidified, but it's not, the whole wheel is not done yet.
Not yet. We're getting there.
We've acquired a Packers jersey.
We won't even show that to you because it's offensive.
A Bears jersey and a Lions jersey. We have one of each of those. And those are 3 spots. I believe, are they 3 separate spots on the wheel where it's like, oh, no, you have to wear a jersey of that team?
We'll have to talk about it because, like, for this game, if we both were wrong and the Vikings win, then we're going to have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And it might have to be like, we just wear the jersey of an opposing team in the division, not necessarily a Bears jersey.
Maybe we do one of those, like we do a Rochambeau, and whoever loses has to end up with the Packers jersey, because that's the worst of the 3. Because at least the Lions jersey we acquired was a TJ Hawkinson one, which I can respect a little bit.
Okay.
And the Bears one, like, they're not much of a threat anyways. So, like,
isn't it a Justin Fields jersey that's like stained all over the
gross? Honestly, you might throw that in the wash, like here, and the next time you do laundry, like flip it inside out and throw it in the wash, because it's kind of gross. I got it on eBay. Shipping was like $10, but the actual jersey itself was $1. There's like a coffee stain on the belly of it, and it's like a 2X. Like, yeah, it's a rough jersey, but I didn't get it to like keep forever. I don't know. We might do something cool with those jerseys, either like a weird giveaway, or the Packers jersey is getting burned. I can tell you that.
I think we should burn it at the end of the season.
Yeah, I promise you. We have an Eddie Lacy jersey, and it's actually like quality not bad. Like, I'm sure a Packer fan would love to have it. No, we're gonna burn that thing.
Yes,
we got to have
100%.
Content. We will burn that thing. And none of the jerseys were expensive. Like, the Bears one was the cheapest of them all at $1, but I think the only other ones were maybe $20. So, like, we're good. But yeah, we if the Vikings beat the Bears week 1, and you've confirmed that we both chose a loss for that week.
Yep.
Then with a Vikings win, we'd have to spin the wheel. We need to figure out to finalize the wheel. We kind of said some of them last week, I think. But listeners, if you have any ideas for a punishment that is reasonable, it could be punishing. I mean, the cinnamon challenge was pretty punishing, right? It can be pretty punishing, but it has to be something that we can spin and be prepared to do right then.
And we'll go out and buy material if we need it. Like, we still have entire jars of pickles, and that I think we'll probably put back on the wheel because we never landed on it last year. That's something we can do. We have it right here, and we have 2 of them, so we can both pop it open, and if that's what we land on, we could both eat an entire jar of pickles in one sitting pretty easily.
We might have to acquire some Malort.
Malort?
Have you heard? You've not heard of Malort?
No.
It's like a Chicago area. spirit of some sort. I don't know if it's like a whiskey or something, but it's like I've never had it, but apparently it's just awful. And it's made in or around Chicago, and it's...
Why would people drink that?
I don't know. I don't think anybody actually likes it. Comment if you do. But it's like, if you like go on to like...
M-A-L?
I think it's M-A-L-O-R-T. But like, if you go on a TikTok and type Malort, there'll just be videos of people like, I'm going to try Malort, and they take a shot, and it's like, oh goodness, that's just terrible. Jepson's Malort. Yeah, it's like, it's got a cult following because it's so bad.
Interesting.
But yeah, maybe we should acquire some of that. I don't know how difficult that would be. I've never looked for it, so I don't know if it's available locally. But that would be a punishment.
Idea.
Oh man.
Aside from the Wheel of Purple punishments.
Okay.
This is in addition to it.
All right. On-air production meeting here.
On-air production meeting. I've had a little bit of beer now.
Hey, that's fine. The best ideas are fueled by,
We buy a bottle of Malort, and if the Vikings lose to the Bears, we both take a shot.
That just becomes the punishment.
That's just what we do.
We don't spin the wheel. That's just the punishment.
That's just like built in. And then we also do whatever the other.
So we're punished no matter what.
Exactly.
Now, is that going to be because if we get a bottle of Malort, theoretically, we're going to take 2 shots of it and have a whole bottle left.
So then,
is that just in perpetuty every time the
Vikings play the Bears?
Oh, I hate it. Oh man,
that was terrible. We tried it twice.
All right, here we go. Yeah, there it is.
That was way better.
I hate the idea, but because I hate it so much,
I
love it. Yeah,
right.
Let's do it.
All right.
We'll need to figure out if it's possible to find Malort here. Again, listener, if you have access to Malort, maybe send us a bottle. We'll figure it out. Speaking of sending things, we have a sticker that needs to be sent out.
We can get it over in Jewel Osco and like Moline, I think.
All right, we will acquire a bottle, and it'll just live here. And if the Vikings ever lose, that's just the instant.
If the Vikings lose to the Bears,
yeah,
period.
That is the punishment, whether we selected it or not.
Correct.
How about if here, let's double down.
Ooh.
So in this scenario, we've predicted a loss to the Bears officially. I think that won't be our final prediction, but that's for the purple punishments. That's our prediction. What if no matter what, we honor the purple punishments? So in this one, if the Vikings win, we'll have to do the purple punishments. But if they lose, any other game we wouldn't have had to do the purple punishments because we predicted correctly. But because they lost to the Bears, no matter what, we got to do a shot of Malort.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to get at a little bit ago.
So
because we both picked a loss, so if they do end up losing, it'd be kind of like, well, okay, they lost and we picked it correctly, so whatever. If they lose Monday night, we'll do a shot of Malort, and I think we're kind of tentatively planning on doing a live stream that night.
Yeah, we've talked about that, and we've got friend of the show Forrest, I believe, on the docket.
So that could be coming.
Okay.
Tentative to listeners out there. Again, very much on-air production meeting. We're bringing you behind the curtain of the Skol
here we go.
But if the Vikings win and we're wrong, we'll do the purple punishments, right?
Yes. And a shot of Malort.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying
that's the wrinkle.
Oh, wait. No, if they win, we don't do the shot. Never mind.
That's what. Okay. Yeah. So if they win, because we picked a loss, if they win, the Vikings, that is, the Vikings win. This is so confusing.
If you're still listening, you're like, guys, we knew what you were saying 5 minutes ago. You just don't know what you're saying.
We're just clarifying for ourselves, I guess, at this point. The Vikings win that Monday night game. We will spin the wheel, do whatever it says. Forrest has to do it with us, so we should probably figure out.
We need to make sure Forrest get his prediction, and then if he's wrong, then he can spin. I don't know. We didn't make him do it last year.
That's true. And then if the Vikings lose to the Bears, we won't spin the wheel because we will have correctly picked
on the purple punishments.
We correctly picked that. That's what I just said.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. We will have correctly picked that.
Yep.
But we will do the shot of Malort.
Yeah. So to simplify it, we'll acquire a bottle and always have one on hand. And no matter what, until the end of the Skol hop, if the Vikings ever lose to the Bears, we will take a shot of Malort. And then if it applies, we will also do the purple punishments. But if it doesn't apply, we won't also do the purple. And just like any game, we could pick separately.
Yep.
And it could be one of those where, like, I would have to take a shot and do the purple punishments. So,
well, to be fair, we will always do a shot, both of us, if the Vikings lose.
Yeah.
But if I correctly picked that they lose, you thought they would win, you'd take the shot and do the punishment.
All right.
I would just take the shot.
That means we have, a week or so to acquire a bottle of Malort.
We'll figure it out.
All right. Well, all that to say, listeners, if you have any ideas that we could reasonably do on hand, be prepared for the whole season, because we get like all of the things right away before the season starts. Think of a purple punishment, whether consuming something horrible or like tasing somebody, or I mean,
do we have access to a taser?
I mean, I've got one of those like tennis racket fly swatter things. Like, I don't know, it doesn't really hurt that bad, but there's something. We could probably get like a tens machine and like stick it to each other and just go right up to 100. Yeah, so if you can think of anything, let us know. Yeah, I don't really have anything else. You got anything else tonight, Ev?
I don't think so. I'm ready for football, man. Yeah, I'm ready to see
here.
This team play.
The weather has cooled down.
I'm wearing a sweatshirt for Pete's sake. Like, and this never happens. It's August.
I turned the air off.
I did too.
And it happened like Saturday when football, like Iowa State and whoever else started playing in Dublin. Like
Kansas State, yeah.
The weather just turned chilly. Yeah, I didn't see it, but actually we know somebody that was at that game.
Who?
I'll tell you off air. And not that it.
But I watched the end. I watched the fourth quarter of that game.
Yeah, I didn't see any of it. But yeah, it's fall. We're here. It's football season. TGIF
football. Thank God it's football.
Yes. What'd you think of this Neon Hazy IPA from Barn Town Brewing?
This beer is really good. Like, I would highly recommend this to anybody that likes a hazy IPA.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, any IPA, you kind of have to be okay with IPAs. Yep. But this is up there with the good ones.
Super good
IPAs. It's just the right amount of hoppiness. Just the right amount of haziness. It's really good. Really good.
I don't think I did not see an ABV on that.
6%, or maybe like 6.2 or something like that. Because they don't say it on the can. I think, hey, Barntown, if I have one suggestion, put the percentage on the can. And maybe I'm missing it. Let me know if I am. But any can I've seen of yours, we had to like look it up. And Untapped is not accurate compared to Barntown's website, but I believe it's like 6.2. You're looking it up right now.
Trying to.
It's on there because I looked it up in the moment at the store. I just don't remember exactly what it was. I didn't have to scroll down very far though. It was up pretty high on their webpage. Because I also looked at the other. Oh yeah, there it is, right there. 6.5. Okay, 6.2 and 6.5 aren't that different, but yeah, 6.5. Barntown, for me, you have totally redeemed yourself. Again, I'm sure many people love the pickle tickle or whatever, tickle pickle. The Skol hop are not people that love that one, but
surprisingly so, because we both like pickles.
Yeah, but if you love pickle juice, I mean, maybe that's pickle juice mixed with beer. Maybe that's your thing. I've heard people take like a light beer, like a Coors Light or Busch Light or something like that, and they'll put like a spear in there, a pickle, and I would try that because that would be overpowering.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, that's one thing. But this Neon Hazy IPA, this is what's up. Barntown, you've totally redeemed yourself. It's delicious. I like it.
That's a really good beer. Really good conversation.
Yeah.
I'm excited for a really good season.
Absolutely. And listeners, if you want to continue the conversation at all, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all at The Skol Hop. You can see our episodes on YouTube, listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere podcasts are. Mm-hmm. And definitely, I think everywhere that you can find us, there's also going to be like a share function. So like, subscribe, and share us with people you think might enjoy us as well. We're not unique. There's a lot of Vikings content creators out there, but we're unique in that we're kind of chill and laid back, and we will interact with you. So,
and Iowa beer.
Yeah, and friend of the show, friend/listener of the show, Dennis, if you're listening, which I think you might be, I do know we owe you a sticker because you sent us an email and said, I would like a sticker. And anybody can send us an email and ask for a sticker, and we will send it. So, Dennis, your sticker is going out, I'm going to say, by tomorrow. So as you're listening to this, I have probably made it to the post office. But anybody else, you want a sticker, let us know. theskolhop@gmail.com. We will send you a sticker.
Well, we'll follow through on that promise.
Yes.
Good beer. Great episode. Maybe best episode yet.
Skol.
Skol.